Esmeralda stared at the buildings with a sad look in her eyes.
What did the humans do wrong?
She said. She felt an urge to help them. Esmeralda saw a doll on the ground. She picked it up and felt sadness welled up inside her.
Poor little girl.
She whispered, wondering how she figured out that the doll was owned by a girl.
I will give this back to the girl when I find her.
But inside, she knew this girl was most likely dead, like everyone else there. Esmeralda put the doll in her bag and with a determined look on her face, smiled. She held on to the doll. Hope burned into her heart. She stared at the sky. Esmeralda shook her head. She opened her book, continuing her super important studying. Suddenly, she saw someone, but it was erased from her memory once she looked away. It was probably one of those aliens from Doctor Who that you can only remember when you see them. Anyway, Esmeralda read about the ancient days when humans thrived. She curled up and slowly fell into a coma, never to wake up again. Unless she does wake up, which is entirely possible. Wake up, you idiot! Look, you all are frightened rats living in a cave. Do you have no sense of self-respect? Tory yelled at the men assembled. A man with a stark white beard stood up. The point was considered some time ago. There will be no expedition to the surface. Tory slammed his hand on the table. 10 years. A decade. This little community and others like it had fled into the city's subway upon the outbreak of the disease. The people had separated out based on ideals. And now, everybody was hiding in a cave. Long past when the biologists who made it down said the disease should have died out with no further hosts. Tory attempted to argue further, but the council would have none of it. Fed up, he took matters into his own hands, gathering up what gear and buying what he didn't have. He now stood in front of a blocked-off subway entrance, thinking, now or never. He donned his gas mask and checked the seal. Then he broke his way through the barrier. As he walked the steps into the abandoned city, he marveled at the stars in the sky. So beautiful. The rest of the night was spent trekking away from the city. There wasn't much sustenance to be found there. Upon dawn he had made it to the smaller neighboring town. By midday he sat down on an abandoned bench. The middle of the town, eerily silent. The only sound he heard was his breath inside the mask. And then he died! Well, no he didn't, actually. He survived. Anyway, this is all an RP on the DragonAdopters forums. Go check it out! Or else.